Disclaimer: if you are of a nervous disposition, if you do not like bad language, if there are small children and small vulnerable animals in the room, please remove them now, because this is going to be a rant.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. What shit have I got for you today? Well, it's this fucking bollocks here. Honestly, and I know I haven't even started yet, but I've just been reading the research. I've just been doing some research about this lager. Fuck me. What a fucking sorry tale of woe it really is. Now, it needs no introduction. You've all heard of this, surely. If you live in the UK, you've heard of this stuff, yeah? Oh, fuck, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? I don't know, but I'm doing it. You've all heard of it. And I'm hoping you're of the same opinion as me, that it is a massive pile of bollocky dog wank, coupled with a sprinkling of a bag lady's gusset on top of that. Because I have tried this in the past. I haven't got through a full pint. I used to drink in a pub in Wood Green when I was living there a few years ago. There was one fella in there who would drink nothing else, and he would not drink Foster's. He would rather have Carling. Now, why that is the case is fucking beyond me. But that was what he said was the best lager in the pub. Obviously, he was wrong, and I don't care. I know beer is subjective, but fuck me, this stuff. Jesus. Right, where do I start with it? Alright, this has been going for quite a long time, believe it or not. And guess where it originates? The People's Republic of fucking Yorkshire. In 1818, there was a farmer called Thomas Carling, and he emigrated from Yorkshire. I can't think why. Apparently it's God's own county and everyone wants to live there, but he emigrated from there and he went to Canada. To London. I think he got it confused. I think he was trying to go to the London, not London, Ontario. But he did. He went there. And he started brewing his own beer, and it became popular. Very popular. Up to the point where he built his own brewery there. 4-storey brewery, no less. And I imagine it would be one of them sort of tower breweries that were quite popular over in the UK at the time. 4 years later, it burnt down. Not for insurance purposes, apparently. But it burnt down anyway, and it carried on after that. The partners who were with him in this enterprise, they carried on brewing, and again the beer just went from strength to strength. It became very popular indeed, and it was, I wouldn't say a staple of the Canadian brewing industry, but it got taken over in the 1930s by a conglomerate of Canadian brewers, and they eventually, 20 years later, after the Second World War, they made inroads into the UK, and it was the first beer that was actually, the first lager that was imported into the UK since the turn of the century. Obviously there was lager brewed in the UK before that, but the name and the connotations of it being German, what with the First World War, it fell out of favour quite quickly, and obviously World War II didn't do it any favours. If there was any kind of resurgence in lager drinking, then World War II put the kibosh on that. But in 1952, they did make inroads into the UK, and this new joint enterprise of Canadian brewers, and there were some British brewers over here, they eventually formed Charrington Bass. You obviously know Charrington Bass, if you know your brewing history. They were a big brewer in the 1960s, 70s, and I think up until the 80s as well, when they were taken over. But Charrington Bass is a huge name in British brewing, and it kind of made inroads into the beer market. Now you've got to remember, again, in the 50s, lager wasn't a big thing, but they kept plugging away, and they eventually became quite popular, up to the point in the 1980s it was the best-selling beer, or best-selling lager I should say, in the UK. Now don't take that as the product actually being good, and I think it was called Carling Black Label then. Do you remember the ads for Carling Black Label? If you're of a certain age like me, they were around in the 1980s, and yeah, just because it was popular. Michael Jackson, not the beer reviewer, the singer, he was the most popular artist of the 1980s. So that just gives you an indication of people's taste back then. And if before you mention it, no, I'm not a fan of that plastic-faced kiddie fiddler, allegedly. So yeah, I didn't like his music. I was fucking sick of hearing his fucking shit on the radio, to the point where I was working in a warehouse once before I got into the building game, and I smashed the radio up because they were playing a Michael Jackson song, and it was off the, remember the Bad album? Bad? It was fucking aptly named album, that was. They were kept fucking playing all that shit on the radio, and I smashed this radio up, and I think I got sacked from there, and yeah, that's when I went on to the building trade. But happy days, or were they? Who knows? Anyway, going back a bit before that, this Canadian brewer, they were actually sold to Rothmans. Do you remember Rothmans? They were a brand of cigarettes that were popular in the 1970s. My old man smoked Rothmans, and I smoked at the time, and I remember, here's a little story for you. My mum caught me smoking when I was about 13. Now, this is bad parenting, and if you've got kids, don't do this with your kids, right? But my old man, he was of a certain age, he was a paddy, and he liked what he liked. But he never hit me as a kid. That was my mum's job, and boy, did she make up for it. But one day she caught me smoking, and I think I was like 12 or 13 at the time, and she went effing mental. But mental to the point where she wasn't going to hit me, she was going to leave it up to me dad. And that meant serious shit, apparently, according to her. So my old man was working during the days, working down at the cryo plants. He was a sprayer down there. And I remember I was confined to my bedroom, so I'm sitting in my bedroom waiting for my old man to come in, absolutely fucking bricking it. And my old man's walked in, straight from work, covered in paint and everything, and he said, "What's this I hear about you smoking?" I went, "Yeah, you know, I'm not going to lie, I could smoke him." He went, "Have you got a light on you? Jeez, I can't find me matches." So in the end, we sat down together. I was 12 or 13 years old, I can't remember which one, but we had a cigarette together, and he's going to me, "Jesus, you shouldn't be smoking. It's terrible for you. It'll stunt your growth, it'll give you cancer and everything. Jesus, it's terrible." But he was smoking Rothmans. And yeah, ever since then, if he didn't have any fags and I had some, he'd ponce a few fags off me. But I never ponced fags off him because he smoked Rothmans. And if I was absolutely desperate, I would have a Rothmans off him, and they were fucking disgusting. I don't know what the hell they put in them, but it tasted like old fucking socks. Yeah, didn't like them. But I'm going off on a tangent here, but they eventually took over this Canadian brewing company, and eventually it formed into Molson-Coors. And Molson obviously being a Canadian brewer, so that's where I think the Canadian end of the market came. And eventually in, I think it was 2005, Molson-Coors took over, well, I think they merged with Coors merged with Molson in 2005, I think, and they ended up brewing this fucking abomination. But it's popular, and you know, I mean, there is no accounting for people's tastes. But to give you an idea, and I had to write this down, but I'll give you an indication of their growth. Now, I've had to write this down because I'm no way am I going to remember this, right? But in 1989, I should say, they merged with Molson-Coors. So 20 years after they were bought out by Rothmans, there was a merger, and that's what became Molson-Coors. So that was 1989, not 2005. I do beg your pardon. But 10 years after 1999, they had sold 1 billion pints. Now, that may not sound a lot, but in the UK, that is a big amount. Worldwide, in 2009, they had sold 11 billion pints. Yeah, 2016, they really upped their game, well, no, they didn't up their game. They must have upped their marketing strategy. They sold 83.6 billion pints worldwide. Now that is some fucking sales. But here's where the shithousery comes in, right? And I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent. I should really be doing this in the next section, but I'm going to do it here because this will explain the shithousery that comes in with macro brewing, all right? Now in 2017, and especially at a time like this when it's, you know, the austere times and, you know, everybody should, all the big companies should be paying tax. These fuckers, right, they were done by the UK government for apparently not paying tax on their beer. Now, beer taxation, or heavier beer taxation, starts at 4% ABV, right? What these fuckers did, they've got 4% on their cans, yeah? And it's still there now, right? What they did, they actually brewed their beer to 3.7%, but they kept 4% on there, because that's what it was originally, before these new tax laws were brought in. They kept that on there. The reason being was because, not because it would cost too much to change all the livery and stuff like that. I mean, you could do that on the next fucking printing run when you're doing your cans and all that. They didn't want the pubs, the supermarkets and the retailers getting a share in the money they were saving. Now that to me is just pure shithousery. So they are selling a product that they say is 4%, which is actually 3.7. In my opinion, that's false advertising, but they get away with it because there is a 0.5% margin when it comes to beer. Yes, I know that beer, you know, consistently brewing beer, the ABV does fluctuate a little bit, and they've given them a 0.5% margin. But in this day and age, when there is computer-controlled brewing, especially when it comes to macro brewing, I don't think they should have that. But that's just my personal opinion. But that's the kind of shithousery that they do. So they avoided tax by brewing a 3.7% beer, called it 4%, but they didn't change it back to 3.7% when the taxation laws came in, because they didn't want the supermarkets, the breweries, the people who actually sell the beer, and the consumer, didn't pass them savings on to the consumer. Oh, fucking no. And that is the reason I've got this glass. A friend of mine, he liberated this from a pub in London. I'm not going to say which, and I'm not going to say which friend, but his attitude was, if you are going to charge me £6.50, I think they were charging, or was it nearly £7? It was nearly £7. He said, if you're going to charge me £7 for a can of Carling, I'm keeping the fucking glass. And he did. He kept the glass, and here it is. And I'm going to drink it out of a Carling glass. It's dirty. I could not give a flying hairy one because it's not going to make an ounce of difference to the flavour, because I've got no respect for the beer. I know it's sad and it's not very professional on me. I'm not a professional beer reviewer, so fuck them. They're going to get the respect they deserve. If you're going to do pull strokes like that, then fuck you. And look what else these cunts have done. Burton-on-Trent. They put Burton-on-Trent on there. There's no reason to put that on there. But you know why they've done it? Because Burton-on-Trent is a huge part of UK brewing history. And they put that on there as a supposed sign of quality. Fuck you, you're fooling no one, you bastards. Oh, I thought I'd stop ranting and raving. Do you know, I didn't have a beer all weekend. Not because I was contemplating this fucking bollocks, but I was busy Saturday. I had to give me missus a lift home, and on Sunday I was doing some stuff in the studio and just completely lost track of time. So I haven't had a beer in 2 days. Maybe this is why I'm like this, but if there's a beer that's going to make me fucking be like this, it's this absolute bollocky fucking dog wank here. Right, let's get on to how fucking rich these bastards are. From screwing over people like me and you, and even screwing over the people that sell their beer. You shithouses. They did sponsor the Carling Premiership. Do you remember that? Carling Premiership, when it first came out in 1993. The worst thing that ever happened to English football, in my opinion. Some fuckers don't believe that there was a history of English football before that. Well, believe me, there was, and I lived it. So you can fuck off with your Premiership, starting all your stats from 1992. Fuck you. They lasted until 2001, and there was also the Carling Cup. Do you remember that as well? They sponsored that too. They used to sponsor Brixton Academy. I haven't been to a gig there in ages, thankfully, but they don't sponsor it anymore. I think it's O2 who sponsor it now. In fact, I'm almost certain that they do. Budweiser have taken over the sponsorship of the Premiership in England Fuck you, Budweiser. You see my video about Budweiser. If you want the rant on Budweiser, go and visit that. And they also sponsor some other projects and stuff all over the world. You know, a fucking tax dodge in my opinion, or just an excuse to sell more of their fucking shit beer. Oh, calm down. I didn't get this wound up on Carlsberg. Why? I don't know. But this is the final fucking nail in the coffin. This is what has sent me over the fucking edge. The other stuff pushed me right to the edge. This sent me over the edge. Would you believe there are variations on this theme? Right, and I've had to write these down because again, I'm not going to remember it. I was writing them down. I was fucking fuming. Right, they do a Carling Ice, yeah. Foster's Ice, you can get that. Bud Ice, fuck off with your Bud Ice. They do a Carling Light. Carling Light, are you fucking serious? At 3.7%, you fucking shithouses. I wonder how much the ABV is on the side of that. I bet they put 4%. You fucking tossers. They do an extra cold. Fuck me. Well, I can see why they've had to do an extra cold, because if you're going to be drinking this shit, you want to get the least amount of flavour possible. And this is cold, it's come out of the fridge. It's probably going to be fucking warm by the end of this fucking rant. They do a Supreme, Carling Supreme. You think that's going to be good? 8% it is. I'm surprised they fucking done an 8% because you've got to pay tax on that. I've never seen it over here. Apparently they do a Carling Supreme. It's 8% cheap malt liquor. Some people call it tramp juice. I wouldn't do that. I don't agree with them terms. I know the little Welsh fella calls certain beers tramp juice and all that. That doesn't sit right with me, but effectively it's aimed at people who have a problem with alcohol. Shithouses. That's you, Carling, not the people with the problems with alcohol. They do one called Big Ten, believe it or not. That's 10%. Fucking hell. Knock yourselves out, Carling, you wankers. But this is what's done it. This is what has fucking sent me over the edge. And I'm going to stop after this because I'm going to fucking spontaneously combust. Right? They do a Carling Premier. Right? They brought this out to celebrate their sponsorship of the new Premier League. Thankfully, I never fucking drank it. What is Carling Premier? It's a cream flow lager, which has got nitro in it. Why would you put fucking nitro into a lager? Honestly, do you know what? I can feel my head. My fucking vein is throbbing. Not that vein, the vein in my head. I'm like fucking stressed Eric again. I'm getting a headache. I can feel myself getting a headache. The mere mention of nitro lager, I've got a fucking toothache as well. That's probably not helping. I don't know what that is. I've had root canal there, and I think that's fucking problem with it's coming back. But oh fuck my life. I've got root canal fucking issues there. I've got a throbbing vein, not that throbbing vein, and I've got to review some Carling. Oh, let's get this shit over and done with, shall we? Right, it's a 500ml can. The ABV, do I need to explain? It says 4%, it ain't 4%, you lying fucking bastards. Oh, what does it say on the side of this absolute fucking monstrosity? Carling Lager, brewed in the UK, Molson-Coors Brewing Company Limited, in the Republic of Ireland. That's, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Burton-on-Trent. Why, you fucking wankers. They put Burton-on-Trent. Believe me, this has got fuck all to do with any English brewing heritage. There it is, 500ml can. It's cold, and it's a bag ladies period. Let's get on to the next section. Right, so let's get it into ye oldie glass. Glass is filthy. I couldn't give a fuck. Look how dirty that glass is. Yeah, it's rotten. Fuck it. This is probably going to end up down the sink anyway. So that is fucking that. Yeah, that's how dirty the glass is. And the fucks I give about that are non-existent. Look at the head. Aroma. Oh, just typical macro. Cheap, grainy nonsense. Cheapness. Slightly sulfuric smell in that. Shall I pour the rest out? Because it's going to go down the sink. Now, this is a nucleated glass. And it probably needs to be. Why the nucleated glasses? I do not like them. I know I did mention this in the Pints of View, but I just don't like them. I think if you've got to do that to your beer, then yeah, fucking, I don't like them. Put it that way. What are we getting on the aroma? Sweet, cheap grain. That's what it smells like. And there's a little undercurrent of nastiness in there. Do you know they do a beer, one of these in Canada, and it's they advertise it as having no preservatives. Fucking beer shouldn't have preservatives anyway. You fucking shit houses. Oh Christ, do I really want to do this? All right, let's get it over with. Wish me luck on this fucking voyage of discovery in a sea of shit. Oh. If you can imagine, there's a grainy type of flavour to it, but there's a sweetness on it as well, which is artificial, and there's like an undercurrent of this is going to sound really strange, but this is what I'm getting. It's like a, you know, like a swimming pool, the chlorine in a swimming pool. Very, very, very faint taste of that. Now, I don't know whether that's the water that I washed this glass out with, and I did attempt to wash it out, and then I thought, why am I fucking bothering? But oh, that just smells nasty. That really is not nice at all. It's that damp cardboard smell. You know, some people call it like a wet dog type smell. I get that as damp cardboard, and that's what that's smelling of. And it ain't pleasant at all. And there's a sweetness to it and a sulphurous smell to it. Aggressive carbonation, probably from the nucleated glass, and just devoid of any flavour or anything memorable. And I question why people would drink this. I really do. Is it the worst macro that I've tasted? Well, at least they don't do it in green bottles, so you've got to say that. But I can't separate them. I'd have to do a head-to-head, and I'm not fucking doing it with Heineken, Carlsberg, and this bollocks, and Stella, and all them other fucking macro brew bullshit, fucking nonsense beers. I'd rather not drink, to be honest, when I get beers like this. It's just uninspiring, soulless, characterless beer that's brewed by companies that don't give a fuck about flavour. It's all about the profits. Well, you see that anyway. I mean, every business has to be about profit. I get that. But it's the shithousery involved in it. You know, if you care about the product, then, you know, I think you've got a little bit of integrity. Molson-Coors, they've got fuck all integrity. Really haven't. And that carbonation is really aggressive, to the point where it's abrasive, and that's putting me off for starters. The nucleated glass isn't helping. If you look at that, I can't believe I'm drinking this out of a Carling glass. It's a filthy fucking glass, I know. I do not give a fuck about that. Smells actually calmed down a little bit now, but it still don't smell great. And this is cold. That carbonation is actually, it's abrasive, it's actually hurting my throat. It's fucking rubbish. Seriously, I would question. I can feel a headache coming on. I don't know whether these fucking glasses are too tight. I found these glasses. Someone put in the comments on Pints of View, they often buy glasses from a charity shop. I'm assuming he means beer glasses and not fucking reading glasses, because you'll will end up like Mr. Magoo. or having a fucking severe headache. These glasses are really tight on my head, and I think with me throbbing vein, not that one, with me throbbing vein, it's making it fucking worse. And I've got a fucking toothache and all. And I'm not a happy fucking camper. Oh, that just smells. That grainy, you know, that real cheap cereal aroma that you get from cheap beer. This is absolutely reeking of it. And it ain't good. What the fuck do they put in this bollocks? I'm taking one more mouthful. I'll give you the synopsis and then that's it. Never will I drink this bollocks again. And who's this? Is this little Bob or is it Percy? Ah, it's little Bob. Come on, Bob. I'll soon get rid of you, mate. Have a sniff of this. You ain't going to like this. He doesn't fucking like it. Bob's got good tasting beer, ain't you, mate? He does not. You can't see him, can you? I just give him a little sniff of it. There you go. There's little Bob. There you go, mate. He's not as placid as Percy. Oh, yeah, mate. But he turned his nose up at it, and rightly so. It's fucking horrible. Is he going to do it again? No. I don't. As I say, don't give beer to dogs. They can't handle it. It'll run straight through them. They can't deal with the hops or the ethanol in there. So don't give your dog beer if you've got a dog. But there you go. I wouldn't give this to. I would give this to my worst enemy. You know, people say, "Oh, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy." I would wish everything on my worst enemy. I'd wish this would be on my worst enemy. Who's my worst enemy? Oh, I don't know. I mean, fucking hell, how long have you got? That'll be another rant, that will. But I would wish my worst enemy, the only beer they could ever sample, would be Carlin. That would be it. Because it doesn't make sense not to wish something on your worst enemy, because I never understood that. But there you go. Oh, Christ. Right, one more mouthful and that's it. And Bob's looking at me because he wants feeding. You ain't getting none of this, mate. As I say, I wouldn't give it to my worst enemy, not let alone my little best friend. Would I, Bob, eh? Cheap, grainy cereal with aggressive, abrasive carbonation. Some kind of artificial sweetness. I nearly said artificial. Wouldn't surprise me. It tastes like a Canadian's arse crack. Not that I've ever tasted a Canadian's arse crack, but yeah. Well, this ain't seen Canada at all. I mean, people say it's an English beer. It ain't really. Oh, even he's crying. Come on, Bob. Let me let you out. See what this bollocks has done. It's even made my little mate Bob. It's even made him cry and want to get out of the room. He's a good judge of beer. I should get him to sniff the beers in future, and not Percy. That fucking idiot will eat and drink anything. Right, let's see. I'll take one more for the team. Again, that aggressive carbonation. I don't know whether it's the nucleated glass. This is the only nucleated glass I've got. But I don't know. How do people drink this bollocks? When I say life is too short to be drinking shitty beer, it means, when I say shitty beer, I'm talking about shit like this. So what is the verdict on Carlin Original Lager? Well, it's fucking shit. That is the general opinion that I get from this. I just don't like it. It set me fucking tooth off and all. Jesus Christ. Why do I do this? I'm doing this so as, I really want to get across how bad this beer is. All joking aside, I know you might be like watching me spontaneously combust, but that's going down the sink. I'm not taking another mouthful of that. No fucking way. I've got some Budvar in the fridge. I'm going to console myself with one of them. But I do want to get across how bad this beer is. And why. I'm not saying, I'm not trying to say you shouldn't drink this beer, but me personally, if it was a choice between this and nothing, I'd go for a soft drink. I'd go for, I don't know, fizzy water with a little bit of lime in it. I wouldn't insult my taste buds, and 3.7% lager. What is the point? 3.7, even though it's got 4. That bugs me. That really does bug me. And I think that, and the fact that they do a Premier, which is a cream flow lager. You absolute fucking shithouses. Cream flow lager. Why would you put nitro in lager? It's beyond me. What fucking genius come up with that? Oh, fucking hell. Have I told you this beer's shit? Well, needless to say, this is a fucking 0 out of 10. If I could give it a -10 out of 10, I would. But mathematically, impossible as it is, I'll have to settle for a 0. Don't buy it. Seriously. In all honesty, it is one of the worst beers I've ever tasted. And I've tasted some shit. Is it as bad as that Kamenitsa stuff from Bulgaria? Well, there was a green bottle that had a lot to do with that. But no, I am not impressed with that at all. So for that reason, it's getting a 0 out of 10. Definitely don't buy it. I don't know, drink something else. Drink meths. I'd recommend meth. Well, not really, but you get the picture. Drink anything but this. It's fucking rubbish. It's not beer. That's just an exercise in give us your money and here's a shit product. Fuck you, Carlin. Fuck you, Molson-Coors. And fuck the fucking horse you rode in on. And remember, I'm not drinking this shit, so you don't have to.